Hi and welcome on to the All Guns Blazing podcast, DT. Good to see you, mate. You enjoy your holiday?
Yeah, man. It's nice to have a break. It was relaxing.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was nice. It was just something different, innit? It's I have missed the football though, a little bit. As it's getting towards the second week. The first week, I didn't. It was kind of like, this is nice. It's nice. Just chill. Just be with the family, the kids, and all the rest of it. But now we're getting to that second week. It's like, right, come on, man. I want to see a game. And I didn't realise as well, the breaks have been split up with the clubs.
Yeah.
I didn't realise that. I thought everyone got a break like straight away.
No, that's how they did it. They're pretty smart because obviously the Premier League, they don't want to lose. I think with them, they just don't want to lose any ground on any of the other leagues. So they think to themselves, if we're not around for 2 weeks, everybody's going to be watching Bundesliga, La Liga, this, that. So if we at least keep it that we've got something going on 1 week and something going, then that way, right? So they're pretty smart in the way they did that, although their plans got scuppered by the weather and they still had to call off that Man City game. The North London derby, the women's game was called off, which was a bit gutted at. So just before we get into that, the guys from 888 Sport, they've given us another video today to look at. Why do you always shake your head when you say that?
Because you just have this big grin on your face. It's like you're going to come up with something that's going to be controversial and I'm going to start moaning or something.
Their videos are always controversial, right? And that's what I love about them. Get over there and comment on this one. Tell them that we sent you, right? This is a good one, actually, right? I want you to watch this. Who is the most overrated player in the Premier League? Watch this.
I think we can all agree the most overrated, most expensive player has got to be Harry Maguire, right?
Maguire? Oh, Maguire, that's a belter of a shot. How did I miss that one?
Maguire,
slabhead.
He's slow,
he's a fraud.
Wow, do you agree with that? Harry Maguire? That's not a bad shout, you know. When I think about it, right? He hasn't really delivered, has he?
I know that Manchester United fans are going to be throwing their toys out of the pram when they watch this. And I know a lot of them will throw Pepe's name into the hat. Yeah. But what I will say about that is that Pepe is a player that's coming into the Premier League, new league, everything else. Harry Maguire, he doesn't have to get used to the English culture or anything like that, or the Premier League. And for the price tag, you're expecting a Van Dijk. That is the benchmark now. 80 odd million pound around that mark for a centre back. You want a Virgil van Dijk. He's not a Virgil van Dijk.
No. But do you reckon though that he'll come good?
I'm not sure in that Manchester United side because I think they've got bigger problems.
Because he is. I can see why. Listen, I ain't going to deny it, right? When he was available in the summer, I wouldn't have minded him for Arsenal. I was looking on him thinking, you look at him, he's got that size. He's looks like a leader out on the pitch.
He's a captain
and
now.
He's decent on the ball, isn't he? He's like a ball playing centre back. But I think what we've seen at Man United, and this is the thing, sometimes when players are playing at smaller clubs, right? And, it's hard to call Leicester a smaller club nowadays. They won the league recently.
Careful.
Right? But you know what I mean? When they're playing, they're a smaller club than Man United,
The expectations are a lot less.
Yeah, and you're not seeing them as much. The scrutiny that you're under at a Leicester is not the same scrutiny you're under as a Man United, right? And at Manchester United, things start to get exposed. Like, he looks quite slow, like those guys said.
Yeah.
He turns very, he is a bit slow. So you can get at him in that way, whereas Van Dijk is not that slow, is he?
No. It's a tough one because the thing with Maguire is that, Leicester got 80 odd million pound for him and they've not even had to spend that money to replace him because their replacement was already there. So they're laughing all the way to the bank. In terms of price tag, I'd say pretty much I agree on that.
Yeah.
In terms of price tag,
you think Pepe's in there though? Pepe would have to be.
No, if in
he hasn't,
if in a couple
70
of years,
million, he ain't really delivered yet, has he?
Look, he's like he's had 3 managers in his first season. Yeah. His first 6 months. That's not easy.
Maguire's had no manager.
No. The thing with Maguire is that there's no like adjustment period. He knows the Premier League. He's English. He's a full international for England.
Yeah, you're right.
And he knows everyone around him. He knows the game. He knows the style. The strikers that he's coming up against week in, week out, he knows. So there should be it's hit the ground running, you know, which is the same thing. I'll bring it up again. Van Dijk, because he was at Southampton, played in the Premier League, there was no need for an adjustment. Can speak English, even though he's not English. His English was good. Knows how to play the Premier League, knows the strikers that he's coming up against, knows what it's all about. So he literally hit the ground running. Harry Maguire has not hit the ground running.
Because they also say in a video, right, the longer form of it, most underrated player at your club. Who's the most underrated player at Arsenal?
I know there's been a lot of underperforming, but I would say probably the most slept on and underrated is probably Aubameyang.
Aubameyang is rated though. Aubameyang's rated.
Do you know what? There's still a lot. No, because there's still people out there that disrespect him. There's even Arsenal fans that disrespect him. Sell him, get rid of him. What does he do?
Yeah, that's actually true.
So,
that's actually true. Which
his goal scoring record is phenomenal.
Yeah, and when you talk about a player that hit the ground running,
he hit the ground running.
Remember, he came in a January, right, in an underperforming team, and
he's been in an underperforming team for 18 months or so, 2 years.
He's been here, he's tore it up, hasn't he? He scored the goals.
You only have to look at his record, the fastest goals to ratio, Arsenal history, ahead of Wright and Henry and all these people. So I just think that there's a lot of people out there that still don't rate him, that still don't, class him as being elite level. You know, and sorry, but for me, he is an elite level striker.
I think Saka is a bit underrated. Not he's an up and coming player, but he's not spoken about like some of them other young players. You know, like everybody will be going on about your Mason Mounts and
I see what you're saying in that sense.
This kid, to me,
I think he's starting to get
in left back position. Playing on the left wing, he's played brilliantly when he's played in the Premier League. He's played brilliantly when he's played in the Europa League. I think he's a player that's, I'm not saying that, obviously those guys like Mason Mount and that would play probably a bit more than him. But some of those young players around the league get so much ratings and talked about so much. I don't really hear nobody mention Saka. I think potentially this kid can be an England player.
Yeah, I don't mind
what
that.
I'm seeing.
I don't mind that. I don't mind him not talking about him. Let him go about his business. Don't put too much pressure on him. You remember what happened to Theo Walcott? Yeah. With all the pressure that was heaped on him, putting in England squads before he even made a debut for Arsenal. And, if he's going under the radar and just going about his business, let him do it. We don't mind. We love him at Arsenal. We know what he's capable of doing, and we love him watching him develop each week. So long may it continue.
Just before I touch on, because today we're just going to touch on looking on how we're moving. We're getting back into action now, so it's back down to business now.
Yeah.
Right, I want to ask you about this as well. I don't know if you saw Hakim Ziyech of Ajax.
I mentioned him last week, didn't I?
Yeah, on his way to Chelsea.
Yeah, they got themselves one hell of a player and under £40 million.
Have we moved too slow on that? Because remember when we spoke about and we said, you was talking about potential replacement for Ozil.
I said it last week on the podcast, didn't I? I said I'd love him.
Now he's going to Chelsea. Have we missed that big time on? I mean, he is a baller.
Under £40 million as well.
38 million, they're saying.
Mate,
missed out.
I think we missed a trick, man, for that kind of money.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw that, I'm like, it's 38 million.
It's like Jadon Sancho is available. Right.
Yeah, but that's gonna. But
listen, that's what
you're back again in your 70s, 80s.
Oh no, you're talking 100. Dortmund won at least 100 million. That's us out of the reckoning, unless Kroenke just decides to sell up next week, and the Nigerian guy that says he's going to buy us by 2021 comes in and throws the money around. Then we've got no chance of like a Jadon Sancho. But Ziyech, them two. They're, two players that you would want at your club. But Ziyech being 38 million in this day and age. And he's just signed a new contract. That's not a release clause or anything like that. He's just signed a new contract. The guy is unreal. I said it in last week's podcast. I would love to have him. And now Chelsea are going to get him. So as far as I'm concerned, he's crap. He's not. But I don't know. This Ozil thing... I know there's a lot of talk about,
there's a team from Qatar apparently wanted him.
Well, no.
Just before the end of the
well,
transfer
yeah,
window.
because it's that or America. I think maybe.
It ain't gonna be China. That's for sure.
We said that it definitely ain't going to be China. But maybe Arsenal are looking at the route, because that's the name that I keep seeing mentioned a lot. And I tell you something, this is an underrated player. Let's go back to this, Jack Grealish.
Yeah.
Very, very underrated. What that boy has been doing this season in the Premier League, I'm telling you, I'm very impressed by him.
I think the only way he'll become available is if Villa go down.
Yeah.
Because the owners of Villa, they're not broke. Eh? They've got new owners. They've got a lot of
but
money.
You say that.
And he'll be a lot of money as well.
I know,
he's going to be 70, 80 million,
but with all due respect as well, and I know Aston Villa have got a big history. They're even European Cup winners. I'm not going to dismiss any of that. But in this current climate and where we are right now, a big club who are aiming to be top tier and to win Premier Leagues and whatever should be able to go to an Aston Villa and say, there's your best player. Thank you. I'll have him. I want him. Yeah, he'll fit. There shouldn't be no questions about that. And that's not no disrespect to Aston Villa. Please get that right. It's just the fact that in this current climate, we should be able to just go, yeah, thank you. And he should be in the next England squad. I'm telling you now, everyone hypes James Maddison, rate him so much as well. But again, Leicester don't need the money. You're going to have to pay ridiculous money to get him if you want him. Look at the way that they haggled over Harry Maguire. We'll go back to that. That was, prolonged, and they were saying, 70 ain't enough. Boost it up. You ain't going to mug these little clubs off. Not little clubs. You're not going to mug these lesser clubs off no more for their big players.
These clubs have got big, rich owners, man.
Yeah.
The owners of Leicester, they're billionaires. The owners of Aston Villa, billionaires. They've got a lot of money now. So, and they're getting a lot of money from being in the Premier League.
But
so
I rate Grealish. I really do. And I think that he's underrated. He's so underrated. I think his performances. And when you put into the fact that he's playing at Villa, who have struggled predominantly all season, what he's doing is just phenomenal. If he ain't in the next England squad, Gareth Southgate, man, pack your bags and get in the bin.
Arsenal going forward, of course. We've had our break now.
Yeah, you've had your break. How was America?
America was good. America was
right.
good. New Orleans, man. You got to get. I told you, man. You should.
I know. Do you know what? I told you, man. I was watching
your immigration thing.
Shut up. I was watching this guy.
I heard you was on that plane to Jamaica.
Oh, mate. Any more of that? Jesus Christ. Oh, mate. But do you know what? The thing is, is that
no, New Orleans was lit though.
I was watching like all your stories and everything else, and I tell you, one of the bits that was really fascinating to me was not all the, the parades and all that kind of stuff. It was when you went to where the floods were.
Oh,
and
yeah.
And you see what real life is about.
Yeah.
The hardship. Ghetto areas, like what people have to go through, and
we went down to this area
eye-opening, man.
We went down to this area called, I think it's 7th Ward, right? And and just in general, we went to certain places where basically there was that place where we stood by that flood line. They go, that wasn't even. They go, the others are way worse than that, and they were just sort of saying to us, just picture just a river. That's what it was. Basically,
what was it?
These places were just a river. And it weren't a river for like in England you get a flood and it starts to recede within a day or so or whatever. Yeah. That was lasting weeks. And these people had no help, to see how they've rebuilt that city is unbelievable. I recommend that city to anybody, man. Yeah. If you wanna go to a very unique place in America that's full of character, there's lots to do, lots of fun. New Orleans is your place. And also, what I really big up those American fans. I every time I go there, I find them amazing. You know what? Actually, it
seems to be getting bigger as well each year.
On that, right? Just
wasn't that the 7th one?
Yeah, that's the 7th one.
Yeah,
that's the
and
7th
it seems
one
to be
they've
getting
done.
bigger because I remember when you went out a few years ago.
This was bigger than the one that we've been to previously. And I got a message yesterday from these just show you these American fans, right? Let me see if I can find it. It's from Steve, who we were hanging out with out there. He's a great guy, really looked after us brilliantly out there.
Loves his cigars.
He loves his cigars. He had me on the cigars.
Yeah, a new meme was created for Robbie. As soon as I saw the picture of you with cigars, like there's a dub meme
I
right
posted
there.
that because I knew it was going to get me
Mate,
to death, right? And I just like, I said, you know what?
everywhere I look online,
I
no matter what it is,
I
there's
took
a
that picture
of
like
you.
on the first day, and I thought, you've got to put this out, man.
Mate,
I know what's happening to this
without
picture.
fail, your picture is everywhere, and it's like I never expected to see this dub whilst eating my breakfast. It's like I can see this dub with my eyes closed. I'm like, oh my god, everywhere I look, Robbie's there.
I should have painted that meme, man. You know what I mean? Right? But this is just to show you about these fans out there, which I think is wonderful, right? So there was a message about I think is the person who is the first Guna Gra king, because they crown a Guna Gra king and queen, and that's kind of based off of contributions that these fans have made to the fan group over there in America, right? And the first Guna king, Amanda, it was Amanda and Austin, they're a couple, and they had like a family in emergency, right? So they weren't able to go to Guna Gra, and they still had to pay for their Airbnb, yeah? And they wanted everybody, they just sort of sent out a little email, you know, can everyone just chip in? You know, they had a bit of an emergency, and like so many people like donated that they got more money than what the B&B costs. And I just think, I find that a lot with those fans out there, like they absolutely love Arsenal. Arsenal, you know, when you speak to them, they're very, very passionate fans. They love Arsenal. But even apart from that, they just love being a fan family kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they really do set a good example to like us over here, because I was saying to some of the guys that are speaking over here, I was saying the problem we have over here sometimes is that everybody's trying to be the biggest Arsenal fan. I'm the number one fan. I've been going for 100 years.
You're not a real fan.
You're not a real fan. You're this, you're that. Whereas over there, they're just like...
What's the word? Proper Arsenal.
Yeah, they're
That's
just happy to
I
be...
keep
They're just
hearing.
like, I just love Arsenal. And I just, you know, I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to watch Arsenal, and I just love this club, right? And that's the, you know, and I think that's how it should be. Because to me, it doesn't matter if you supported Arsenal for as long as we have, you know, or if you supported Arsenal for one day, because that person who supports Arsenal, who just started supporting Arsenal yesterday, is the future of Arsenal.
Yeah.
And we all had to have an entry into this club.
I know. You came from Luton Town.
Oh my God! Do you know that's one of the most pathetic things?
I still keep hearing it, man.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Some of the most. I don't even bother with this.
The thing is
right now.
it's
You know what I mean?
like
So
because you was
pathetic.
brought up in Luton, a lot of your mates were Luton fans, and you went to a couple of Luton games. You openly admitted it, not to say that you're a Luton fan. It's just like
No, you know what? It's pathetic, right?
It's
absolutely.
You know what it is? It's easy. It's easy prey. It's easy to just jump on a bandwagon and use that.
I think if
as a
anybody, yeah, whatever they do, man, do what you do. It's pathetic, right? But I love these fans, man, because these fans to me,
Passionate.
what Arsenal are all about, and it's all about being a family of fans. And I thought it was incredible. And long may that Guna Gra continue. It was fantastic.
Yeah,
what
and
they're
can I
doing
just
down
say
there.
one other thing about your trip?
Yeah.
Looking round, and there's a lot of red here.
Oh, troops. Mr. Brexit, as I called him.
Yeah, I love that new name. Won't try anything but burgers and chips.
That guy, man. Burgers and chips, fried chicken. Yeah, I mean, that's about all he eats, man.
But
You
the
know what
one
mean?
thing I
And
want
then-
to speak about with him
Yeah,
is why
the red hair.
was it no red hair? Why was it gone within a day?
Well, exactly. He should supposed to have kept that in, right? And bottled out of it, innit?
I'm hearing a lot of comments.
He goes, "Oh, I had a shower and it just washed out."
No
I'm
way.
Like, sorry, man.
No way.
When we sprayed that in, right afterwards, his hair was like
Listen,
matte.
I remember spraying red in my hair to be like Freddie Ljungberg.
Yeah.
Right? And that was in there for days.
Yeah.
Right?
He scrubbed that, man. He was scrubbing that.
The thing, I hear a lot of people saying the bottle job with the forfeits and stuff, right? And I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to bring this up, yeah? But he still hasn't done a forfeit involving me.
The cookery thing.
The cooking show.
Yeah. He was supposed to go full kit, wasn't he?
Full kit to an Arsenal game.
To an Arsenal game, yeah.
Yeah, because we also done another, thing between me and Troops where the loser has to do a forfeit, and I lost in that quiz thing. and I had to stand in a goal, and Troops had 3 shots at my backside.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And then I remember after I did that, I said to Troops, let me have a shot at your backside then. I said, let me have one back. And he let me have one shot. And he's like, yeah, that'll do as the forfeit. Now I was like, what do you mean that'll do as the forfeit? You said I could shoot it at your backside. That don't count as a forfeit. He lost the cooking show after telling everybody that he's got the secret recipe from Jamaica. Grandma gave it to him and it was too salty. He's got to wear a full kit to an Arsenal game. I'm sorry, I love you, Troops.
Good luck with that, mate.
But you've got to wear a full kit to an Arsenal game.
Good luck with that. I think I'm going to give up on the forfeits for this guy, man, because he's not carrying them out, is he?
You should have dyed his hair blue.
Right?
Red was too easy. You should have dyed it blue.
I've got something lined up for him next time anyway. Don't worry. Watch what I've got
you need
for
to
him
watch
next.
You don't lose as well, because I reckon he's got something lined up for you now.
But we're back now.
Yeah.
The fans are back refreshed. The
Yep.
players are back refreshed. They've been over there in Dubai. We've seen them all over there riding camels.
Yeah.
Enjoying themselves. But also, actually,
Working
a
hard.
couple of my mates over there, who were sort of near around some of the stuff that they were doing in the camps. They said, Robbie, it worked like last time they went to Dubai. They ain't been partying. They've been working hard. So it looks like, they put the work in and also been able to relax. All of the sounds coming out from there are good. Everybody's bigging up Arteta, saying that, it's fresh and everything like that.
Yep.
But now it's back down to business. Newcastle at home. Couple of home games, actually. Newcastle at home, Everton at home, West Ham at home, right? It's back down to business. And what they got to do is start turning those draws into wins.
Yeah.
And this game against Newcastle will not be an easy game.
No, it won't. And
because
if we don't
Newcastle have
win,
been doing all right.
listen, we don't win, Dubai was pointless. Simple as that, innit? If we don't win, Dubai's pointless, because the proof is in the pudding. And everybody's talking about, okay, it's great going over to Dubai. It all looks great.
The last time we went to Dubai, we come back from there. It was awful.
It was awful. But we actually played a match out there and everything, didn't we? And it was kind of not the whole squad. But we've all seen the pictures. We've all seen the videos. It looks amazing. It looks brilliant. The team chemistry, the bonding, you can't fault it. It looks great. Now you've got to go and deliver, because you've got to back your talk. If you go out there and put a performance in against Newcastle, and not just scrape a win, but go out there and put a real good performance in to back everything we've been hearing over the last 2 weeks, cool. Yeah, justified, worth it. Let's do it again. Let's carry on. Then we go into the Everton game, the West Ham game. I know we've got Portsmouth in the cup in between and whatever. We're talking Premier. Yeah, and Olympiacos next week or whatever. But we're talking Premier League. Go and get those 3 points. Go and start to move. Let's get a bit of a momentum going. What did we say on last week's podcast? If one team, I think the top 3 is the top 3. I think, Liverpool won the league, Man City, Leicester, and then 4th place is up for grabs. All right? Someone gets on a real run and gets momentum, wins 5-6 games, not 1 or 2 and then lose, and which is what we've all been doing. Win 5 or 6 games. You could take that 4th spot. And it's not unrealistic. I know we're a massive outsider, and I don't believe we're getting top 4.
No, I don't think we get top 4.
But never know. Stranger things happen.
I mean, how do they turn those draws into wins?
It's confidence. It's maybe they're...
Are we creating enough?
No. This is one of the issues that I spoke to you about. And I said that I think that Arteta has sacrificed a bit of our attacking play and the creativity to sort out the defence, to try and rectify the issues that were there, because that was the biggest problem. It's no point with Aubameyang scoring, 2 goals and 3 goals when the other was scoring 4. There's no point in it. So it was... The one thing he had to address was the defence. Now, the reports I'm hearing is that everybody is really impressed with our new signing at centre-back.
Murray.
Yeah, and that he's actually in line to start against Newcastle.
To start?
Yeah, that's what people are saying. They're saying they're so impressed. So you've got to show us. It's all well and good telling us he looks great in training, he's amazing. Okay, well now you've got to go and show that against Premier League strikers.
I think there's some particular players that this break has come for at the right time.
Yeah.
And now they've had their break. They're fresh.
Lacazette.
He's the first one, right? Now, if we are going to start turning,
he's got to start scoring.
Draws into wins, Lacazette has got to rediscover his scoring boots.
Yeah. I can't say no more than that. What do you want me to say?
Because
we've addressed this situation.
He's lost form. He seems to get the ball caught under his feet a lot recently. He's thinking too much. He's thinking too much. He's over. You cannot question the work rate of the guy, and that's what I admire about him. He knows he's going through a tough time, but he's still put the work in. He's still working hard for the team, and that's why he's been so hard to drop. But your job is also to score goals, and we need those goals. If we're going to turn draws into wins in games where we might get a limited chances, which Newcastle might be one of those, because one of the things about Newcastle is that defensively, the way they set up under Steve Bruce is very, very good. They're a very difficult team to break down. I mean, they're not an easy team to play against, and they're set up to counter-attack. They've got the speedy Almiron and Joe Linton. Oh no, he's out now, isn't he? Joe Linton, I think he might be out. But they've got that St. Maximan and players like that. A lot of very quick players in that team, right? So they basically defend very well, then they counter. So we know what they're going to bring. I don't think they're going to be a team that's going to come and be on the front foot against us and try and press us high up the pitch and stuff like that. But they're going to be hard to break down. That means if Lacazette gets a chance, he has to be banging it. And plus as well, going forward, to get him scoring again is the sort of thing that will lift the team and start turning those into wins.
I just think that at the moment still, I think that he should be starting on the bench.
So you wouldn't start Lacazette against Newcastle?
No.
Who would you go with in that front three?
Aubameyang up front.
Down the middle?
Yeah, straight up front. In his preferred position. Pepe on the right. And Martinelli on the left. Yeah. Okay. That's what I'll go with. I'd like to see a little bit more Dani Ceballos as well. I was going to come to that. The next person I'm going to say is Ozil. Again, we're talking about turning draws into wins. We need him to create more. Yeah. He has been creating some things, they ain't been converted, but we need him as well to create more, and also to chip in with some goals as well, because that's another reason why we draw so many games, because our midfield doesn't score any goals. Yeah, well, look at what we was talking about a little bit earlier on as replacements for Mesut Ozil. Ziyech scores goals. Grealish scores goals. Maddison scores goals. So they don't just assist, they score.
Yeah.
But Ozil doesn't score. Yeah. And at the moment, he's not assisting either. Yeah. And I know part of that is down to the fact that we've not been taking chances as well, but there's not enough there. But the one thing that we did agree on with Ozil is that he always seems to not be a major problem at home. It's away. So with this being Newcastle at home, I'm not actually that worried.
What about a Ceballos though in there instead? Yeah, I mean, all energy, a guy that seems to be willing to have a shot if he can get a shot off.
Do you know what? I don't think he's a 10. I don't think he's a 10. I think he's more of an 8, like a box to box.
But you could argue that he's a very similar in the style.
He's versatile.
To a Grealish.
He is.
Isn't it? It's a similar sort of style to Grealish.
It is, but it's a difficult one. Look, we've got to see more of him. At the end of the day, I've seen the quotes this week and what Ceballos has been saying, and he's saying that, he decided to stay at Arsenal and see it out for the rest of the season to change things around. He owes it to the fans. The fact that he knows he's got his own song and there's only a handful of players that have got one within the team shows how much we think of him, and he's got to go out there and give something back to us now. He's had a long injury.
Plus, if he's going to get in the Euros, he's got to put performances in.
But sometimes as well, maybe that injury's done him to work on other things about building himself up for the Premier League. One of the things that I noticed whilst they was in Dubai, there was a picture doing the rounds of Pepe and his legs in comparison to when he signed and how bigger they are. And it's conditioning, getting bigger, and being ready to play in this league, because it's a different league to the French league or the Spanish league and German league and whatever. And maybe that time away for Ceballos means he's been able to work on other areas of his body that can make him more robust or durable, shall we say, for the Premier League. So,
but would you like to see Arteta switch it up a little bit, because again, this high press, high intensity style that he's wanting to play, right? We've all said it, that we've seen improvements, but then we've seen players later on in games, they're shattered. Yeah. Right? And you know what? A lot of teams that play that style, you can look at Leeds at the moment in the Championship, right? Which they got Bielsa, who's kind of, a lot of people credit him as like one of the main introducers of that type of style. And they seem to get burnt out every year just after Christmas, right? And then results suffer. Now, is that why Arteta needs to freshen it up a bit? Drop out a few guys and bring like a Tobias who's hungry in to the lineup.
Yeah, I'd say when you say fresh, I think you mean not mentally fresh, more just like a different face, to try something different, to maybe pick up the ones that have lost their place. So there ain't no kind of comfortability, no kind of like, oh yeah, all right, I'll play this. Because it's one of the biggest issues we've had under Wenger, even under Emery. There was players where you were kind of like, yeah, he's playing today, he'll play today, he'll play today. You knew, even though he was crap last week, he'll play this week. There was never any, you know what, didn't perform last week, sorry, out the side, his turn. There's no kind of raising the levels. And yeah, it's maybe that little bit of freshness, I think, I think Lacazette needs to come out the side still. I don't think he's done enough, despite the break and everything. He hasn't done enough in the games leading up to before we had the break to warrant starting. And I think that we're hindering ourselves by playing him. It's like we're shoehorning him in there, and it's having a detrimental effect on everything.
What do you think about, a lot of people say that he holds the ball up well, which is...
Yeah, he does hold the ball up well.
Aubameyang doesn't hold it up. Martinelli, we haven't really seen that in his game yet, but he's the one player in that team. But
if we play to the strengths that we want to play, we won't need a striker that holds the ball up. You get him behind, and it's first time deliveries, whipped crosses in, and that's Aubameyang's strength through the middle.
Against Newcastle, right, you're going to sit pretty deep. Right, they ain't going to play a high line. They're going to, as I said, they're a very, very defensive type team.
That's where you work the triangles. You work in the spaces and you open them up. But there's going to
be less space. So that's what I'm saying. I know,
but Emirates is a big pitch.
Sometimes you need a player that's going to like hold it a bit, bring others into play.
Not for me. No, I'm going for Aubameyang. Okay, I really do. I think his movement in and around the box is one of the best. He's unreal. The amount of times everyone has this big thing about Aubameyang scoring tap-ins. All over here is, oh, look at his goals, the tap-ins. The reason why they're a tap-in...
Don't matter if it's a tap-in, it's a goal.
But the reason why they're a tap-in is his movement.
Yeah.
Not because... You know what I mean? The defenders just fell asleep every single time, 40 odd times a season. It's because of his movement. Watch his movement. The reason why he has taps in, because it's outstanding. So again, it goes back to the point, underrated.
All right. You touched on him, Mari, the new guy that we brought in at centre back, which has been a problem area for us all season. However, just as he's arrived, right, all of a sudden, the two centre-backs have been playing pretty decent. David Luiz and Mustafi have put in good performances over the last couple of games. Do you drop one of them and bring Mari in?
Tough. Very tough.
You said
the reports
are, he's been doing brilliantly in training. He's looking good. Everyone's saying he's the new coming.
Look, listen. If we've bought him, this is a Mikel Arteta signing as well. This is his recommendation.
Loan, by the way.
Yeah, loan. It's still a signing. We've still bought him in for the season. This is a Mikel Arteta player. He knows him personally because of Man City. So he has specifically said, I know that guy, I've seen what he's about, I want him. Would he do that to leave him on the bench the whole time?
No,
I don't think so. Maybe they might integrate him a bit slower.
Do you bring him in for Newcastle?
I wouldn't say so yet, because the player I've been most impressed with is Mustafi, and I think he deserves to start. I'm being real. He deserves to start. I can't believe I'm saying this, but he deserves to start. Mustafi deserves to start, and so does David Luiz.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The two of them have been playing really, really well,
and maybe these kind of players and the signing coming in will raise them even higher to go, right, listen, you know what I mean? Socrates is there. Knocking on the door, because he was doing all right under Arteta as well when he was with Luiz. I remember before Arteta come along, we was all there like, oh my God, Luiz and Mustafi, it's like an accident waiting to happen. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, hold on a minute, all right. And then, Mustafi got an opportunity. Last 2 games, he's been one of our best players. He's brilliant.
All right, if Kolasinac is fit, Does he return or do you keep Saka there?
Play Saka.
Who's been brilliant.
Me for Saka. That's what I believe.
Although, before Kolasinac got injured,
he was good.
He was brilliant as well. He was like,
but it's about
showing
taking
his
your
strength,
chance.
his driving runs.
Take your chance. Take your chance. If you take your chance, you get your opportunity.
So you'd leave Saka in against
I would
Newcastle.
leave Saka there. And what I would do with Kolasinac is that we're going out to Greece next week. So that's a perfect game to give him some minutes in the Europa League. Got an FA Cup tie coming up.
Yeah, listen, you're all about minutes in Europa League now.
Yeah, I know it gets tight.
Europa League games now are very important now.
But hold on, is it a gamble?
Huh?
Is playing Kolasinac a gamble?
No, it's not a gamble.
Exactly.
No,
so
but I'm just saying.
But what I mean is that's an ideal time to go right.
The way you describe it, giving minutes. I'm saying that.
No.
That could be our only route into the
Champions League. I know it could be,
League.
but what I'm saying is it's not a gamble. It's not a gamble to play him in the Europa. It's not like, you're picking out a kid from the under 23s and going, yeah, give him some minutes. It's not that kind of risk. We're talking about an established first team player and an international that's come back from an injury. So it's the ideal time to give him some minutes because I feel that Saka's done enough to justify starting. So the idea now is to play Kolasinac in Europa League, FA Cup coming up against Portsmouth. There's another opportunity to come and knock on the door to take your place back off Saka. And then Saka's going to have to raise his level in the Premier League to say, no, you're not taking your place back.
Another bit of good news is that Tierney is back in full training. Hopefully he'll be returning back. So start getting these type of players back.
Yeah.
And lots of competition for places. And do you know what? It's all about, I think at Arsenal, how they need to, and Arteta and everybody needs to kind of look at it right now is like, almost like this is the start of the season. And we go again now. We've had our break. Now we're going.
Yeah.
Now it's just like finishing this season off so strong. Now, if you get injured players back and that and just really look at the games and say, right, we're going to have a push. You never know what could happen, man. I mean, you could win a Europa League.
Yeah, well, I think
you could win an FA Cup. You could, you could get into top 6, whatever.
The one thing I'll say about the Europa League is separating from the Premier League. I think that we've got nothing to lose in the Premier League. We're not. In my mind, we're not going to get top 4. I think that even in Arteta's mind, he knows that it's.
But it's all about finishing strongly.
Yeah. So go all out, express yourself. Go and try and just stop being so. You've kind of made your own little foundation now with the back line and kind of sorted that out. So now let's start to open up a little bit. Let's express ourselves a bit because the attacking talent we've got.
Yeah.
Come on.
Me, if I was the owner of the club right now,
you wouldn't turn up.
I'd be. I wouldn't turn up. my target for Arteta would be right. I want you to win a string of games at least. I want to go on, show us that you can go on a run of games and win some games.
Yeah.
Right. I want you to have a strong FA Cup run, and I want you to have a strong Europa League run as well. Right. But I want to see. We got to turn those draws into wins. We got to start winning games.
Yeah,
the amount of games we've drawn has not been good enough. It's not all been you, Arteta, because obviously you came in just recently, and we can understand why he's drawn games because he's trying to stabilise things. Like you said, he's trying to tighten things up.
And we're unbeaten this year.
Yeah, but now we need to win games. We need to string some games together. We're surrounded by teams that have lost way more games than us. Right, way more games.
We've lost the same amount of games as Man City.
Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it?
The same amount as
crazy.
Leicester and Man City. 6. Those two are sitting comfortably in second and third.
But then we've only won 6.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And that's the
Draw
problem.
FC.
Draw FC, and we've got to start.
The last time I saw this many draws was when I was with Troops. You know what I mean? It's like
we've got to start turning those into wins. You know what I mean? And I think it's important for Arteta to get some momentum going so that when we get to the summer now, they'll back him. I think the only way they are going to back him properly is if he can get some momentum going as well.
And if we got in the Champions League, my God, then there is no excuses.
I can't tell you how much I miss the Champions League.
I am starting to miss it now. I remember that first year.
I remember I used to interview you guys like you. Yeah, listen, I don't even care
No, it was that
I
one
don't care if
season. It was
what's
that
the
one
point?
season.
What's the point
It was
in being
one
in?
season.
I miss it,
Because
man.
I was fed up with going to Barcelona every year and getting slapped. I was fed up with going to Bayern Munich every year and getting slapped. We always played.
Better than going to Baku and getting slapped.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'll tell you that.
Baku again. But what I mean is that for that 1 year we dropped into the Europa League and we were going to places in minus 13 conditions, and it was like
it was
an
new.
adventure. It was like, it was new, it was exciting. It was like, you know what, I don't mind going to this part of Sweden and, having to wear ski goggles and all this. It was fun. It was just like something new. It's like being in a new relationship. It's always fun at the beginning.
Well,
and then now, exactly. Now I'm like, right, I want a divorce. I want a divorce. I'm done. Rings in the bin. Go on, give me a divorce now.
I want Champions League, man.
I can't deal with it.
Champions
And
League,
the
we
worst
need.
thing is about the Europa League this year is that we actually in the group stages never got any of them horrible ties where you go into, I'm not going to disrespect any country or anything, but ties where you're going, oh no, where I can't even pronounce the name of it, let alone know where it is. But we were going to places where we would normally go in the Champions League.
But last season, that place in Ukraine, where what was it, Vorsla or something? Right? Luckily, in the end, they kept the game in Kiev. But that one, I was looking at, I was thinking, this competition, man. We've got to go to some war-torn place.
Yeah, remember that was martial law at the time.
Countries under martial law. How many of them people are always dissing me, right, would have done that trip? Yeah. There was hardly any of us, isn't it?
Mate,
and then luckily at the last minute, they switched it to Kiev. And then even then, like you said, it was minus 13, man. It was freezing. And I was
luckily the hotel was right next to the stadium.
And I was there and I was like, yo, Champions League, man. Please come
Get
back.
me back. We miss you. I just missed the anthem.
Yeah, I missed the anthem.
You see the ball boys and get ball girls in the middle, like waving the big thing in the middle, and it's just like the champ. I was like, just give me it back, man. Now we've got some.
The challenge is, I think there's a route back to that in the Europa League, and we've got Olympiacos next. Difficult game, but we beat Olympiacos the last time we played them, and we should be able to beat them again. On paper, when you look at the players that we have and Olympiacos have,
and they've lost players as well,
right? And they've lost players in the January window.
Yeah,
it shouldn't be a problem. You don't diss no team. You know it's a difficult place to go to. Remember last time we went there, they've got a crazy atmosphere there at Olympiacos. We were there last time. The place is crazy, but we won. Yeah, I mean we can beat Olympiacos, can't we, and get through to the next round?
Yeah, we can too. And then that's when it really gets interesting, because that's when you get English sides. We could have
Man United,
Wolves, Rangers, Celtic.
Yep.
There's 4 games where you
again, you know what I mean?
Ajax, Inter are flying right now.
Yeah, Inter's a tough one.
Inter's
Inter,
real
Ajax. I think Inter and Ajax are the 2 standout ones in there that you think, oof.
Yeah, Inter, because look at Lukaku right now.
Yeah.
I bet Man United wish they had a striker like that, don't they? I'm sorry, they could sit there and kick and scream and say everything they want about Lukaku, but he would.
That Argentinian they got up front as well is another good player. They got some good players, man. They have, but still, it's winnable.
I'm not getting involved. I'm not getting involved.
FA Cup next round, Portsmouth. You know what I mean? All right, we know Portsmouth will be a difficult place to go to.
Don't get me started. What I say to you in the interview after Bournemouth? What did I say?
You said something like we might get Portsmouth next.
No. I said, because the draw was already done, didn't I? I turned around and said to you, I said, at least we won't get a Monday night.
Well, we got a Monday night. Portsmouth away.
Do you know how many times we played on a Monday this season?
It's been crazy, and that's another thing when you're in the Europa League. In Europa League, every minute you're on a Sunday.
I don't think it's even to do with the Europa League, because there was 2 times this season. No, there was 2 times this season we played on a Monday, and we've been going mad because we're playing in the Europa League on the Thursday, and we're like, what? How?
I think it's disgraceful that we twice in a row, right? Remember when you have these games.
We played Leeds on a Monday.
Oh yeah,
Bournemouth
Leeds was on a Monday.
What are they going to do? Play the final on a Monday?
And you know, right? The disturbing thing about it, right, is that there's no fault for the fans, is there? Now again, another game.
Trains.
There'll be no trains back from Portsmouth at that time.
No.
Will there?
Portsmouth have undercut our allocation, which we're trying to investigate about. They give us just over 2,000, 2,100 something when it should be 2,800 and something. And the last round that they had, they gave the full allocation, and Arsenal were inquiring as to, well, where's the other 700-800? What? Where are they? Why? Explain.
It'd be a
There's
tough
an allegation.
game.
Yeah,
but they're a League One team. We should be able to win that.
Yeah, they're not Portsmouth of the Premier League.
Yeah, put a strong team out there. We should be able to win that. But it will be tough.
They will be tough.
You know what I mean? You go there and mess around, it'll be a giant game.
One thing I will say about Portsmouth, I'm glad they got a roof on the away end now. I remember back in the day when they never used to have a roof.
Man, that used
you
to
remember when they never had a roof and it was
Yeah.
windy? Oh my God.
It'd be one of those places you'd be checking the weather forecast and thinking,
Oh no,
God.
they ain't got a roof, man. I remember that. I remember being there when they didn't have a roof.
But
Jesus.
that's going to be great to go back down there again. And it's going to be a tough game. But I'm saying, I'm looking at all these games and I'm like, yo, there's chances there, right? Like you said, in the league, Newcastle, winnable. Everton will be tough. They're doing really, really well at the moment. Everton, they've been doing what we haven't done, which is they've been winning. So they're higher in the table than us. I remember when Ancelotti came in, there was talk of relegation there. Right, so he's done a great job, right? And they've been winning games, but that's a winnable game at home, right? And then West Ham, you know, they're in a mess at the moment. That's a winnable game, right? Portsmouth is a winnable game. Olympiacos, all of those games. I mean, they're games that we can win.
They are.
And if we can win all of those, or the vast majority of those,
pushing it a little bit now, no.
But I think that's got to be the aim. That's got to be the aim.
Yeah, it is the aim. It is the aim.
They're home, right? 3 home games
and 2 away games. Olympiacos and Portsmouth.
2 away games against Olympiacos and Portsmouth.
And we're getting another break because Man City's cancelled.
Yeah.
So we're getting another weekend
Well, not
off.
really. No, we're not.
Well, yeah, you are.
Not really, because they put the game on a Monday, didn't they? So they moved that FA.
They already set the.
So
no, but what do you mean?
I'm sure what it was.
Man
right?
City.
So the Man City
the
game.
Man City game's not been confirmed yet, is it?
That hasn't been confirmed. But what they did is very smart, right? If you look at it, right, the Man City game was supposed to have been on the 1st, wasn't it, of March? Yeah.
Is that when the
that was
Carabao
when it was,
Cup final is? Because that's why their game's cancelled.
It's supposed to be on the 1st of March. We're playing Portsmouth on the 2nd of March. So we've still got a game effectively. It's not on the weekend. It's not the Saturday, Sunday, but it's on the Monday.
Forward. Yeah.
So they've kind of moved that. Yeah, I mean, so they're smart.
Because I think the FA
it's
Cup
not really
games
a
are played
off.
over Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday or something.
And then so if I just give everybody a rundown on the fixtures, it's this week Sunday 4:30 kickoff Newcastle, right? Then Olympiacos 8 o'clock UK time. That's next week Thursday, right? Then Everton. That's another 4:30 kickoff on a Sunday.
Where's these 4:30s coming from?
I don't mind that though.
No, but where are they all coming from?
Better than a Monday, isn't it?
4:30. What's happened to 4 p.m?
I don't know, man. I don't know. TV, bro.
Yeah.
Then the following week after that,
Olympiacos
on the Thursday at home. Then after that, on the Monday. Now that, as I said, on that Sunday would have been City. That's been cancelled. On the Monday, Portsmouth.
You know what? That's probably actually fell right, given the fact that we're playing on a Thursday. We don't have to play Man City on a Sunday.
Yeah, and then on the Saturday, the following Saturday, West Ham at home.
That's got to be a 6-point. Then you go into Europa League games if you get through.
Then go into you've got more Europa League games. You're Brighton away, tough but not unreal. Southampton away. We've got a terrible record there.
Yeah. Let's not talk about that.
You look at it. It's not like going. It's not United away or City away.
We've got a better away record recently at United than we have Southampton.
Norwich at home on the 4th of April.
There's a run of games coming up.
And then after that, then there's a tough run of games. The 11th of April, Wolves away.
Yeah.
Where we got battered. I felt last season that was the game where we got. That was our worst performance. We got
dreadful.
They absolutely. I couldn't even take anything out of that game.
They got great fireworks before the game starts.
Leicester at home.
Yeah, and then Tottenham away.
Which will be tough. And then Tottenham away.
So 3 games there. Yeah. Wolves, Leicester, Tottenham.
And then the week after that, they ain't finished yet. Liverpool at home.
Yeah, that's an easy game. That one. Yeah, it's fine. They would have won the league by then, and they're going to play the reserves. And it's like, it's fine.
Liverpool at home. They won't play the reserves. They'll be going for the invincible thing.
Hopefully they've lost by then, and they will play the reserves.
Our last 2 games, Villa away, Watford at home. And then, remember, any of those 2 could be fighting for those 2 could be fighting for their lives at that stage.
The only thing that I want to look at with the Liverpool game is if they're playing in the Champions League before or after us. That's what I want to look at.
They would have won
because
the league
if they've
already.
won the league already, then they're going to prioritize the Champions League.
Yeah, they are. The week before that, the week before that game, we'll be playing in the Europa League, which means they will be playing in the Champions
There
League.
you go then.
But
Well, as long as they get through.
as long as they get through.
Yeah. So, yeah.
But they'll still be going after that invincible season.
Listen, the one thing
we know
I'll say to Liverpool fans, and I spoke to a few about it. I said that once you've won the league, I said every game after it becomes harder than all the games you've played
That's
to win the league.
When we went the season invincible, I remember that.
We won the league with 4 or 5 games to go,
Yeah.
and then we went away to Portsmouth.
It was and we got lucky in that game. Remember Perez?
Yeah. Oh no, no. Wait there. We played. I swear we played Portsmouth at home, and we drew 0-0. Was it? What was it? Oh my God! What game
remember
was
the
it?
game when Perez.
No, that wasn't that one. That was at the beginning. That was at Highbury. That was at the beginning.
Yeah.
Portsmouth, or what, was that the one where Reyes smashed it in, or Sol Campbell?
I can't remember.
I can't even remember because I know we played.
Get in the comments and tell us.
Top of my head, I can't. I know Portsmouth. We went to QPR, and I think it was an Edwin van der Sar mistake for Reyes. Nicked it off his toes when he was trying to dribble past him. That tapped it in. We had a home game where we drew 0-0 straight after winning the league, and I think it was Portsmouth at home side.
I mean,
But it was a struggle.
basically, what you're saying is, and I remember
because
it. I remember
the
it well.
intensity drops.
I remember it well because we won the league and everything, right? And what heightened the pressure? I don't know if you remember this, right? But what heightened the pressure is that Wenger had come out.
already said
about
that.
midway through the season, I said, I think we could
He
go
said it the year before.
Yeah, he said, I think we could go the season unbeaten. And they were laughing at him and this and that. So then all of a sudden that it started to look like we could do it. But the pressure was on.
I know.
And then what happened now, what happens is every team you're playing against wants to make sure they stop you from doing that. They want to be that team that stop you from going to see. So, and then the players, you could see it on the pitch. They want to make sure they win. They just like, we just cannot
so
afford.
hard getting
That's
that
why there were so
momentum
many
back up.
draws, right? Because what it was, we already won the league, so it's just about securing that record now. So a draw is good enough. You ain't got to go out and win the game. You know what I mean, this is when
I remember we
I was
played
here,
really
Adrian
relaxed.
Durham going on TalkSport and saying, there's so many draws in that invincible season. Just because he's not an Arsenal fan. We know what it's like. We were there week in, week out. We were just like, even when games were like draws, we were like, just keep it tight, man. Don't worry about bombing up the pitch and trying to score another goal. We just want to get that record. So,
and even the last game against Leicester, we went 1-0 down.
yeah.
Paul Dickoff.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
My God.
So, it's
going
so.
through the history books and the vaults.
I know, man. I know. The good old days, man.
The good old. Lucky I'm not Turkish. I would have got it all
good
wrong.
old days, man.
Sorry, bruv. Sorry. I saw your quiz, man. None out of 5. Oh my God.
That quiz is tough, though.
Whoa, I know it's tough.
That
Mine
quiz
ain't even
is
come
tough.
out yet, so I'm not giving away mine. But I can tell you one thing: I never got none out of 5.
That
No.
quiz, even for giving the questions. Me, who said Monaco instead of Juventus. Right, on the
Hey, I tell you one thing.
the questions are tough.
They are
Because you know what? When I was even putting the questions together, right? And I was like, because there's also a book that I was using, right? That's like got a lot of quiz questions in it.
You just throw that book away for the one that said Monaco.
And when I was going through the questions, I was like, "Jeez, man!"
Because a lot of the questions,
you see the answer.
I know,
and you're
but
like,
a lot of the questions as well are not real. They're not specifically Arsenal based.
They are Arsenal-
no,
yeah,
because
Arsenal
like
based.
there
Of
was
course they
one of the questions that was asked to Claude was.
He was good, by the way.
Yeah, Claude. He's been
Claude's
around a
good,
long
man.
time. That's what happens when
Claude
you're old.
was good at
no,
it,
no
man.
offense, Claude. That's what happens when you're old.
No, don't make excuses.
he was
Claude's
good. Claude was sick. So for everyone criticising Turkish for what he got wrong, have that same energy for Claude because he was exceptional. But there was a question for Claude, which was the other team that went invincible.
Yeah,
Apart from Arsenal, but it's like
Preston. I knew that one.
I knew it because it was been
Yeah, I
mentioned
knew that
so
because
much.
it was mentioned so
Preston
many times. I was
North End
surprised
was
when
always
Claude.
mentioned.
I was surprised when Claude didn't get that.
But it
'cause-
was, they're kind of questions where some people might go, it's not specifically Arsenal related.
Yeah, no, I should have got that one.
You know
Because
what I
that
mean?
one, right, I remember at the time when we was going for the Invincible season, they were always referring to Preston.
Yeah, that's the only reason why you
North
would
End,
know.
And we was like, Preston?
Yeah. But then
But
saying
back
that,
in the
it
day,
wasn't
Preston
38
were-
games. It was 20-something.
Yeah, and it was
You know?
it was less games, wasn't it?
Yeah. And also, I'm sorry, I can't go without calling out Curtis as well. How could you not know when Thierry Henry arrived, man?
But when you're there,
I know it's like
when you're there. You know what? I done some quiz. Where was it? I did some quiz thing. Oh, I can't remember what it was the other day.
It's like when you're on the spot.
I did some quiz thing the other day and I messed up loads of questions, and then afterwards I was like, how the hell did I get that wrong? I was at the game.
You better hope that don't come out.
I can't remember. What was it again? Is it a podcast?
Because the worst thing is,
I was at that game.
What people don't see,
you know what I mean?
What people don't see is that you're firing the questions at us, and what they don't see by the power of edit, right, is you sitting there going 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And hurrying us up. And when it was me, you were like, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
5, 4, 3,
you
2,
stitched
1.
me right
Trying
up.
to make excuses already. Right? So I didn't say no 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop lying, right? Right? You got them. Anyway, you'll see his one. Your one ain't come out yet, has it?
Nah, my one ain't come out. I'm all right. I was good.
But the thing is the thing is about it is it is difficult, man. When you're put on the spot like that.
Yeah, it is.
Right? It's difficult remembering. You've been to so many games as well. It's so easy
mate,
to. And then some of the questions are asked, you know, you weren't even around them times. So, you know.
Mate, but, that's why Claude got him all right. He was alive. He was around in them eras.
Well, listen, we come towards the end of the podcast today. Don't forget to 888 Sport. The link is in the description. Overrated player. So I'd love you guys to comment on that one. No, I'm not doing no polls.
Right? You're going to put them up anyway.
What, poll on what?
I don't know. Let's make one up.
I'm not doing no poll, right? Talking, you know what? Actually, on polls, don't you think it's ridiculous, right? That they're already picking like out the player of the season and stuff like that.
I thought you was going to start talking about your trip to New Orleans then when you were speaking about polls.
No.
What were you lot getting up to at night time then?
I'm not saying nothing else about that trip, bro. I'm not saying nothing else. All I know.
So big, so strong.
It's a great trip, man. It's a great trip, man. Any hints on where Arsenal are going in the summer?
No idea. We had this conversation, didn't we, last week? I can't see it being America because we was there last year. Somebody mentioned
places like China, which is what I was told that China was the top of the list.
But then maybe with everything going on,
with what's going on now, that and then plus the
Ozil can't go there, so
right?
he can't go.
And then even places like Singapore and that now because of this coronavirus thing.
What do you think about maybe somewhere in Africa?
I'd love that. Because we just never. When are we going to go to Africa? You know what I mean?
Is obviously
Rwanda. Africa would be a great, Nigeria, Ghana.
Oh, Kelechi would be in
Kenya,
his element, wouldn't he?
Kenya is massive Arsenal support in Kenya. South Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah, Arsenal, come on, man. Let's go to Africa this time, man. You know what I mean?
You
can get a little tan out there, you know what I mean? Get that redness out of you, you know what I mean?
Mate, I feel grey at the minute. I feel as grey as the sky. It's like I need some sun in my life, man. I'm fed up with this weather. I hate it, man. It's
know what, right? What about
Australia, actually?
Australia's a possibility. Yeah, because that's a shout because we ain't been there for a couple of years.
24 hours on a flight with you and Troops. Oh, my God, man. 13 hours on a flight to Singapore was bad enough, man. You slept most of the way. Troops was just panicking every time the plane dropped out of the sky. Just see his head popping up out of a blanket.
Oh boy!
Yeah,
so
let's see.
Let's see where we go, man. Let's see where we go. But Africa would be a great shout. You know what? Just before we go, just touching on that because I know that we on AFTV we get a lot of support from China. Great support from China. I just wanted to say to those people over there in China, man, I mean, what these guys are going through over there is terrible at the moment.
Crazy, man.
With that coronavirus, whole cities being quarantined and stuff like that. I got a message from some people in China the other day and, to see what they're going through for the good of everybody, really. They've literally shut themselves off, quarantined literally the whole country for the good of the world, really, to stop it from spreading.
It's already in this country,
London. But it's here, but what, 10 people, 20 people,
That's how it started in China, though.
I know, but what I'm saying is over there, they've quarantined off the country, literally, to protect everybody else.
It's crazy.
So, you know, our heart goes out to everybody over there. Our heart goes out to everybody over there in China.
It's insane.
You know, we hope that you guys can come through it. We know it's a strong nation and that over there. And hopefully, you never know. You know what I mean? If it can be dealt with, maybe Arsenal will be back over there soon and we can get back over there, because I really enjoyed my time. The last time I went to China, Shanghai, Beijing, were beautiful cities. The people were brilliant. So we're with you. We're with you. All the people over there in China, we are 100% with you. Thanks for watching the podcast and listening to the podcast today. Remember, you can download it on all formats. There's no poll, but we will be back next week here. That'll be just after the Olympiacos game as well. Because the Olympiacos, obviously, Thursday, we got the game, so just after Olympiacos. So we'll have a lot to talk about. Yeah. See how we are progressing. But for now, it's back to business.